Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Law Excellence. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, 2nd December 2020. The first article for discussion is The Last Straw is Being for the Disabled. Let us start this discussion with a beautiful statement from the memoir of Brian Stevenson. What he stated is this: in his memoir, Just Mercy, a story of justice and redemption, in this book, what he stated is, a society's commitment to justice, fairness, equality, rule of law can be measured by the treatment it gives to the poor, condemned and marginalized in that society. It means how best you can treat the prisoners who are condemned that reflects the compassion and conscience of your society. In this case, let us take the example of Mr. Stan Swamy, who is stationed in Tanoja jail in Mumbai. He is 85 years old, suffers from Parkinson's disease, and he is arrested under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act in relation to Bhima Koregaon case. As per the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, as he is a Parkinson's patient, he comes into the definition of disability. He is requesting for a sipper and a straw. Till now, neither the judiciary nor the prison authorities are able to arrange the same to him. That clearly shows the lack of compassion. By displaying this lack of compassion, India has failed on two fronts on its own law. The law is Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, and the next is UN Convention on Persons with Disabilities. Both these fronts, a prisoner with disabilities have to be treated equally with others. He shall be upheld with his dignity. Both are being violated in the case of Stan Swamy. The next is pernicious idea of exclusive belonging. Let us take how we have to view our identities as mutually exclusive or inclusive. Let us take our language. Our language are intricately connected. They get nourished from other cultures. Or let us take our cuisine, Hyderabadi biryani. It has its roots in Persia. Or if you talk about any food, any dance form, it is intermixing of different cultures, different ways of life. So that way, our identity is not pure. Our identity is not mutually exclusive. It is accumulation of different identities over a period of time, and either you are a Hindu, Muslim, all happen together. That is one way of looking at the identity. Our identities are mutually inclusive. They are being multi-layered and formed over a period of time. On the other hand, mutually exclusive version of identity goes like this: I am Hindu, I live like this, and my ideas or my ways of life are quite different from Muslims. How we shall see this identity? If you can see it as an inclusive way, it builds self-development and cultural progress. If you see them mutually exclusive, it ultimately leads to collapse of a society. Either you talk about Shuddhi or purification, all these sees identities as mutually exclusive are not related to each other. So in this case, today whatever we talk about jihad or Hindu terrorism, everything or right-wing exclusive politics, everything is related to an idea or a mental framework that believes that our culture's ways of life are built mutually exclusive, which is wrong. Next is regional priorities. Shanghai Cooperation Organization is in news because India and China Defense Foreign Affairs Ministers are able to engage on sidelines of Shanghai Cooperation's annual summit. And the second is, India did not participate in its military exercise Karakau exercises, if I remember. In this, India has hosted intergovernmental or heads of governments meeting of SCO. Though Prime Minister Modi did not participate, Venkaiah Naidu represented India, and this SCO is also called Asian NATO today, and it is very much important for India. It is the only forum in which China, Pakistan and India function together, and it has a strong anti-terror mechanism which is called Regional Anti-Terror Squad. And third is, it is a doorway for India to Central Asian countries. So SCO is very much important. And few of the diplomats saw SCO as a counterforce to NATO. See carefully. India did not acknowledge this military dimension of SCO even today. Next, a slow progress. We have to find the patient zero for COVID-19 and also intermediary host. Till now, we are unable to identify that. And WHO has kept an investigative team. You know that COVID-19 is most politicized. And President Trump is on forefront to accuse China, and he even called it as Wuhan virus or China virus. In these circumstances, China was not cooperative with the WHO to find this patient zero. So it is the time WHO and China has to investigate this closely and has to identify the cause, and it can help the humanity in the future to protect themselves from pandemics. Next is why business barons should not run banks. Remember, banks are financial systems, part of financial system that works with public money. In this case, if a businessman who borrows from the bank owns a bank, the arm's length distance between borrower and lender is being lost. You already know that dilution of this principle has led to cronyism, NPAs in the banks. And the second most important factor is self-lending, connected lending ultimately kills the prudential norms of functioning of the financial system. Whatever the checks and balances may be kept, remember one thing, we can do little once the money gets away. In this scenario, keeping the banks away from the borrowers or corporates is very important. This is clearly stated by Raghuram Rajan and Viral Acharya in their paper, where they called this phenomenon as a bombshell and it has to be kept in the shelf itself. Next is no leverage for Biden on Iran. You know, Iran nuclear deal was shelved by Trump and it was said as biggest diplomatic success of President Obama. And after that, Trump has brought in maximum pressure on Iran. This is the policy of maximum pressure. Remember, Iran did not yield an inch. It means it was able to stand to this particular pressure what Mr. Trump was talking. And today, Biden, who was vice president during the time of Obama, has become the president. Will Iran nuclear deal will come back to table is the question. In this case, Iran is not expected to yield to any pressure. It will not make the things very easy for Biden. That is the first thing. And second, Israel is playing its spoil sports. It's clearly visible in killing of a nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. He was been Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. He was killed allegedly by Mossad. In this context, we can clearly state that Iran nuclear deal may see a light to the terms of Iran, which may be heartburn to Israel and also to Saudi Arabia. If Iran Revolutionary Guards Corps, the extremist faction, if it comes to power in the next presidential elections, things may all turn worse and regional instability is expected. Next is in winners who disappoint. Many times Nobel Peace Prize is given to the presidents and prime ministers who are in power. So these Nobel laureates, did they stand up to the expectations? Let us take Aung San Suu Kyi. She was given Nobel Prize for fighting military regime. But once she came into the power, or else, though she did not directly, her party came to the power, she failed to stand in support of Rohingya Muslims. She went against International Court of Justice on this particular matter. Next is Barack Obama. He was given a Nobel Prize after he became the president in the first term, and he sent troops to Afghanistan, raised the troops in Afghanistan. Third is in Colombia, we have the president Juan Manuel Santos. He is known for bringing in peace with revolutionary factions over there. Mr. Santos was also criticized for his excesses, military excesses, paramilitary excesses after they are being captured. And then presently we have an example, Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia, and he has ordered for a large scale military offensive in Tigray province against the separatists. This all clearly shows that these peace winners, peace Nobel winners are taking up the violence. So you can trust the people but not the situations. That is my take home point over here. Next is National Railway Plan 2030 on the anvil. Here zero based timetable system, it means timetable system with no delays, that is one thing. And infrastructure development upgradation in Indian railways, these are the plan 2030 for railways. The next is China Pakistan sign military deal. So this article talks about one important thing. The military MOU or military cooperation MOU is meant to protect China Pakistan economic corridor. And you know that they are all weather friends and also ironclad brothers. The worrisome thing is China also signed a military cooperation agreement with Nepal recently, yesterday itself. It means China is trying to develop an axis against India. So is Nepal becoming a prey to this axis? That's what we need to observe. Because Pakistan raised the border issues, new border issues and new map, and Nepal has waged a cartographic war against India, and China also did the same. Is this a new axis that need to be verified? Final article for the day, GST inflows top 1 lakh crore for second month in a row. In November, actually, they have increased by 1.42%. It is because of increased purchases during festival season and also due to marriages. It is also described as pent up demand because people did not shop for many years, many months. This pent up demand is created, that is reflected in GST collections. On the other hand, purchase managers index for the coming months, it is not very encouraging. So the manufacturing sector is still facing the troubles. This kind of improvement of GST collections for 1 month or 2 months is an anomaly reflecting the festival season. These are the articles for today. This is Dr. Rambabu signing off for Law Excellence IAS. Thank you very much.